It's so wonderful to be able to play these smaller chamber works with a smaller ensemble. We're performing the Copland Clarinet Concerto that is very rarely played. It's all strings, harp, piano, and of course featuring our principal clarinet, Jason Olney.
I was really excited to find out last year that Arapahoe Phil wanted me to play this concerto. I'd always heard about it, and I think I've heard people play it in the past, but I've never studied it myself. I've never sat down and really listened to it in depth, and I've never practiced anything from there. So it was really exciting to be able to look at this piece of music for the first time. The first couple of times I looked at it, it's just like all of these notes and what is even happening here. So it was really challenging to kind of figure out what was going on, but the more time you spend with it, you discover that there are just these untold depths of opportunity. I've been working on it for a couple of months, and in the last month I've really dug in, trying to make it my own piece and trying to find ways to really bring out what Copland intended for the clarinet. So I remember reading that he was looking to really expose the lyricism of the clarinet, and you can really see that in the first movement. And so it's a great opportunity for me to work on that, trying to access some sort of really beautiful, clear, free clarinet sound is something that I always been striving to do, and I'm going to continue to try to do it, but I think I've gotten a little bit of that this time. So it's really exciting to be able to share that range of the clarinet, and obviously there's a lot of athleticism in this piece, a lot of virtuosity, and you can really show what the clarinet is capable of in those ways, and also the range of the clarinet. You get to hear the very low and the very high, so that's all been very good too.
This piece is by far the most played bassoon piece that we ever have. And worse than that, if you will, it's the #1, the only thing that any audition is going to ask you. So on any single audition you're going to do, it doesn't matter how large or small the orchestra, doesn't matter, if it's first bassoon or 17th one, you're going to be asked to play it. So this is a piece every bassoon player is intimately familiar with. Now, the challenge comes, especially where I'm currently at in life, is in sort of finding a way to play this piece that is not necessarily the same way I would prepare it for an audition. And that box that you get used to when you're in grad school and you're preparing auditions, etc., that's a box that's sort of hard to get out of. And especially individually for me, because I am the type of musician that loves to experiment and loves to do silly things and to joke around and to try stuff, and that's not what you want to do on an audition. So for me, the challenge, which is also sort of what I'm happy about, what I'm excited about, is to sort of break that box, to try and break those conventions, but obviously I'll try to do it in a way that I consider in good taste, right? But maybe some people who are more on the conservative side of music making might disagree with me. But you know what? I can't please anybody, and that's their problem. For me, I'm excited to try out these new things that I've been experimenting with in my preparation for this performance.
The Second Symphony actually represents a turning point in Beethoven's life around 1802. He had a couple piano concertos, but he hadn't quite developed into the revolutionary Beethoven who would change all of music and history. Beethoven's sort of gruffness, his rudeness, his crudeness make their way into his music. And so in the Second Symphony, this is already starting. The really exciting explosions of sforzandi that happen all the way through. And the coolest thing for me about the symphony is Beethoven wrote the Heiligenstadt Testament as he was composing the symphony. And the Heiligenstadt Testament is essentially his suicide note to the world, saying that I'm not really this upset human being. I simply can't hear what's going on around me, so I choose to, withdraw myself socially. And in this letter, which Beethoven never sent, by the way, Beethoven basically says that he's going to live on for his art. He has way too much to offer and way too much to give back to the world before he dies. And I think people are really going to enjoy just experience this symphony as a turning point in probably the greatest artist who ever lived in his life.